Right. I cannot, begin to describe how lucky I was to grow up when and where I did. There must be a million blogs out there by now realising this very thing, but bear with me. Most of my lucid childhood was in the 80s stroke 90s. I got to experience a tactile world in my childhood with precious moments of TV and an online world in my adulthood with precious moments of tactility. Historically speaking, it is inconceivably lucky that I would happen to land on the only sort of generational gap in which the environment around me is that which is considered healthy for a child, and then that which is considered healthy for an adult. Because first you develop and require a sense of tactility, a sense of connection with the real world. Only later do you need to get to grips with the abstract. Before my generation, it was mostly tactile. After my generation, it's been mostly abstract. It's all online now. But I've been projected into the body of Super Mario for as long as I can remember, and even I can't imagine what it's like to have grown up all your life with the kind of processors and internet connections we have today. Like I say, I can't be the only one in my generation to have noticed this, so I'll leave the generalizations there and focus on a particularly fortunate part of my serendipity in being born in this generation: the technology of recording oneself. Because when I first discovered that it was even possible for me to record my own voice and hear it back, it wasn't on a special machine in school or in a museum, nor was it when my parents first began filming me on their phone camera. Kids born in this decade will be hearing their own voices played back to them from the age of before they're even born. But for me, it was at the age of about 9. When I was messing around with the controls of, I believe it was called at the time, a Ghetto Blaster. Yeah, the red button with the circle on it. Does this do what I think it does? Shunk. Noisy, noisy. Shunk. Shunk. Your own fucking voice played back to you! There can't be much of a generational window of kids who got to experience that phenomenon for the first time on their own, under their own innovation. I not only heard my own voice, I simultaneously felt like I'd hacked that system by myself. I know there was a machine involved, but there was no other agent, just me and a machine in an empty room. Title? But what? That feel. I can't describe that feel with anything other than it's me. It's fucking me. And yes, it's an ego thing. It's very much an ego thing. Ego isn't some entirely evil spirit. In a way, ego is what makes this life so fascinating. They say evil is necessary so as to frame what good is. Well, maybe ego is necessary so as to frame what is not ego. And this is never made more spectacularly apparent as when you hear your own voice for the first time. That instantaneous drop from the realm of thinking you know what you sound like to realizing that it's even possible for you to not sound like that. Of course, you then have to corroborate it. You play it to other people and they go, no, yeah, that is actually what you sound like. And you go, holy shit! That's not just experiencing an egocentric barrier. That's you crashing the fuck through it. That's the first step. You know the phrase, have you heard what you sound like? We use it figuratively all the time, but it cannot be overstated how important it is to take it literally, to actually hear what you actually sound like. And I did. I recorded my own voice at the age of fucking 9. I heard what I actually sounded like. What followed was the fruitcake you see before you. Whenever I had a friend round, I'd go, "Did you know you could record actual shit that's going on in this room now? We can do what fucking DJs do or whatever." And I'd do fake fucking radio shows or whatever. And then puberty kicked in, and I somewhat eschewed the very idea of friends. And it became somewhat futile recording my own voice, and only my own voice, for no audience. So I saved up my money for a few years, and then when I was 14 or so, I bought a video camera. And like with any toy, half of the fun is exploring it yourself, and the other half is watching others explore it. That's when having friends gradually became fun again. In my particular spot, in my particular generation, it was ever so slightly unusual to have a personal video camera. So I got to watch person after person doing what people do the first time they see themselves on camera. Now, there's two different things here. There's seeing yourself on a recording, and there's seeing yourself on a live auxiliary feed, like plugged straight into the TV. Seeing yourself on a recording is weird enough. I mean, there have been wedding videos for decades. We've slowly weaned ourselves onto that. But if you plug the video camera into the AV input and just leave it on top of the TV, I'm talking 20th century here, people would perform the most bizarre, almost apish sort of preening rituals. We've all gotten so used to our mirror image that it blows our minds to have access to our true image and to be able to examine it without standing in the middle of a department store reacting to the CCTV footage like a fucking South Bank performance artist statue. And I honestly don't know if any future generations will get to experience that. Seeing recordings of themselves will be forever as second nature to them as reading and writing was to us. Or seeing things was to those who can afford it. I mean, I'm not sure what that gap is, but you know, I'm talking to the internet here. So, in any case, as I understand it, in our fair modern West, even the moderately poor can afford the kind of technology that would embarrass the NASA of 30 years ago. So it's difficult to know what my point is. I suppose it's a calling, in a way, to people of my generation. Indeed, people of any generation who have been as fortunate as me to have slipped through this rather spawny gap in history. You really do have a calling in life. Everyone before us has given zero fucks what they sound like to other people. And everyone after us scarcely knows anything but what they sound like to other people. We're like... Okay. This might be the most pretentious thing anyone's ever said, but... Alright. Lawrence Krauss did a legendary talk called A Universe from Nothing, where he concluded with a frankly unmatchable beauty that we, in this point in cosmic history, due to a spawny gap, can determine how fast the universe is expanding away from us before it accelerates away from us beyond any possible measurements. We live in a unique time in history, a time in which we can determine that we live in a unique time in history. Or it was something like that. Well, that's what we are. Generation Y. The pioneers of the domestic red button. We might be history's last hope. If you possess a recording device, and furthermore you possess an internal articulation device which hath been so uniquely honed by the presence of the recording device, then by Tutatis, use it! You might be our last hope. I mean, argue with me. I'm probably wrong about all kinds of shit. I wrote this after half a bottle of Honey Jack And I recorded it after another half. This is the ironic thing. It's when I'm sober that I'm a cunt. Goodbye and fuck off.